Battlefield is back. EA has just announced their Battlefield Labs, also their Battlefield Studios, which is all the studios which ever have worked on Battlefield being put together to work on the next Battlefield game. What's the name of that Battlefield game? Well, right now it's Battlefield, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is exactly the name of the game they're going for. They're just calling it Battlefield because, names, but we would just refer to it as Battlefield 2025 or even Battlefield 2026 because it could be that the game is not coming out this year, at least if we can believe what they are saying in the video. You're also seeing in the background. I know some people might ask, where's the gameplay? Well, the gameplay is exactly 12 seconds long, and I didn't want it to show like 12 seconds over and over and over. It gets very repetitive very quickly. But the reality is, Battlefield is back, and they are still in pre-alpha. That means not even alpha. They are probably reusing a lot of the things from the previous Battlefield games, like Battlefield 2042, and they are still iterating on a lot of the gameplay systems. Ah, that's bullshit. It's probably coming out in 2 months like they always do. Yeah, I understand that. Look, EA has done a lot of bullshit over the decades. Look, I've been playing Battlefield since 1942, the game, not the year. And I have been there with every release. I have seen the ups and downs of the series. So yeah, I totally understand them when people are skeptical, especially when EA says, "Oh yeah, so this game that is a beta and we are still like 2 months away before the game is coming out," which means absolutely nothing in game development. But from what they have shown, from what they have talked about, also how they are doing the playtests where they are taking chunks of the game and then testing those bits and pieces instead of like giving people the whole package sometimes, very much sounds like very early. And I really hope so. I mean, this was always the problem with, well, a lot of the Battlefield games in the recent years where they came out in a state where people just said, look, if you would have given us this half a year or a year for before the actual release, we could have probably told you what not to do with it, right? And now we are back to that particular point. That's not great, right? So I understand that people are skeptical, but I would say it very much sounds like that they are still testing out things, that they want people early on, and that they really want their feedback about what works and what doesn't. And yes, there will be probably an NDA on what they are testing here, so we will probably not hear about this game for the next 12 months. Like, at least not through creator channels, and this will be mostly through the official channels, or when there's like a special creator event when they feel comfortable to show something. But what did they show in the 12 seconds? Not much. Soldiers running, screaming, and lots of explosions. No, seriously, a lot of explosions, which is kind of good because Battlefield in the recent years always had this problem of it had a lot of explosions, right? But the explosions never did anything. And it seems like we are now finally going back to full destruction. And that's something I have always been missing from the Battlefield series since Bad Company 2. Yes, I know, Bad Company 2, some people would say, oh man, they did go overboard with the destruction there. But I always felt like, no, not at all. I thought it was good. It add the chaotic feeling to the game, and I wanted that back. Then Battlefield 3 and 4 came out, and destruction was just moving backwards instead forward. And then with the 3 recent Battlefield games, we barely got any destruction left. And then, of course, with 2042, there was was there any destruction really, or meaningful destruction? I don't think so. I can't remember. I've been trying to forget a lot about that game. But it seems like now the destruction is back. Another very important information we got was that yes, the single player campaign is also back. And I'm curious how they are doing it this time. If they are selling the single player campaign and do multiplayer free to play, or do something else, we will see. Again, I'm not expecting to see this game till at least the end of the year, if not even next year. But it is good to see that we got our first live sign here, or sign of life. That's that's quite right. And I just, man, I'm really hoping that after everything which happened with Battlefield 2042, um, we are back on the good side. But it's, as always, wait and see. That's the best thing you can do. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I When we are getting more infos and all that, I will probably make some more videos on it. But I just wanted to get my first thoughts out and get you some infos very early on. And yeah, see you on the battlefield. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Stay safe.